Well, hello family. We bought a camper. I'm sorry the lighting is really bad in here. We do not have it plugged into the house or shore power, so we don't have any electricity. We do have 2 solar panels that came with the camper, but last night we got a really bad storm. It's a major overcast today, so we're not getting any sun to charge up the battery, so we have no electricity. I do have 7 little lights on the ceiling. So we have a total of 7 of those in the living space. And when the sun is shining and it can get on those solar panels and charge up that battery, it's plenty enough to run these 12-volt lights. I want to take you on a tour of our little camper, our little home away from home. The husband and I enjoy camping. We have tent camped together with our kids for over 30 some years. We absolutely love tent camping. I love cooking outside at the campground on the portable gas stove. I don't mind washing dishes outside. I don't mind eating outside, having a fire pit, making some s'mores, all the things. Our family definitely enjoys camping. But as the husband and I age, we're coming to the realization that comfort while you're sleeping, when the weather is bad, when I wake up in the morning and I don't feel like going outside and cooking breakfast, we wanted some comfort. So we bought a very small, it's called a couples camper. It sleeps a total of 3. Right there behind the sofa, that is actually a Murphy bed. We'll put that down and I'll show you how that works. Plus the little dinette. The table will drop down, you rearrange the cushions, and that turns into a bed for a small child. So before we go any further, I want to ask you a question. Do you and your family enjoy camping? Do you like roughing it in a tent with an air mattress, of course? Or do you enjoy something with comfort? Do you tent camp? Do you have a camper? Which one did you start with? And what are you using now? Please leave a comment below. Now off to the tour. Like I said, it's very small. We have this sofa. Lighting is really bad in here, family. I'm sorry. The sofa is pretty comfortable. It will seat maybe 3 people, but it's going to be the husband and I only. So this is going to be fine. And what's so nice about it, we can actually use it as a footrest, or we can leave it in a sofa mode. Now this is one of those jackknife sofas, which means if you lift the bottom, drop the back down, now this becomes a nice little napping place, but it has to be in this position to drop the bed. We have a lot of storage under here. I need to get some bins so I can utilize this space. I have a lot of space on both sides of this sofa that eventually I want to get a small nightstand or end table to put in this space, because when we're sitting here, there's a TV behind you, by the way, where we want to sit here, the weather is bad outside, we can't be outside, So we're going to be in here to watch TV or use our laptops to do some work. We can have a place to put coffee or our water right here. So I'm looking at something that will fit into this space, but not the whole length of the sofa, because I have to be able to get through here to climb in the bed when the bed is in sleep mode. But so far, it's been sitting in our driveway for about 2 days. We absolutely love it. Another thing I need to do, the dinette is to the left of the camper or the campsite side. On the back of that, we have all of this space behind the dinette. That is the fuse box, and that is the carbon monoxide monitor. I want to be able to utilize that to put shoes. I don't want them just sitting right there in the doorway. And then on the side of the kitchen cabinet or the counter, I have another space I can utilize for some sort of storage. But I have to be careful because I have to be able to walk around here to be able to get into the bed. Now the dinette is actually big enough that we could sit 4 people, 2 on this side and 2 on the other side, if we did have company go with us while we're camping and we're not eating outside. If I'm filming while we're on vacation or camping, I need a place to be able to keep my laptop and my equipment out of the elements, and I need a place to work. So that's why we wanted a dinette. Underneath the booth closest to the door, there are some outlets and some USB plugs. So we can sit here and have our computers plugged in. Plus we'll be able to plug in USB things such as a tablet or our phones. And the husband and I can work here perfectly fine together. We would have to be staggered. One person would have to be on this side closer to the walkway of the camper, and another person would have to be here closer to the outside wall. But that's not a problem because we do use our laptops a lot. On both sides of the Murphy bed, we have 2 pretty good sized cubbies. I'm going to get those fabric bins. This middle one right here, we'll be able to put 2 front to back. This top one, I'm only going to be able to put 1, and that's because the outside has a curve to it. So the curve is coming right there. Plus we have some on top that we can put a small basket in. And to turn this sofa into sleep mode is really simple. So we have to lay the sofa down in the jackknife position. That was so simple. And then right up here I have a D-ring. You just pull that to release it. This right here is magnetic right here in the middle. We need to open that. And now we have a bed to sleep on. I have my sheets on here. I believe this is a true queen mattress that came with the RV. Oh, family. I laid on it and it's not comfortable. Not comfortable at all. If we have to get a new mattress, we'll get a new mattress. And I've been watching a lot of YouTube channels about RVs and camping in general. And a lot of them say you don't have to buy a camper mattress. You can buy one of those mattresses that's in the shrink wrap, and then you open it up and it inflates and all the things. And you can use that. Now that is something we're going to have to do. We have some 110 outlets, USB, and then that's one of those cigarette lighter adapters to charge things. We have this very small cubby right here. I'll be able to put a shallow basket in that. And that's on both sides. And then when you're laying in the bed, we have another little cubby right here that we can put our phones or anything we need while we're sleeping. A tablet or something like that. But family, I can tell you, this is super uncomfortable. And the cubbies that are in front are also open on the sides. And that's on both sides. And then in the morning when you wake up and you want to stay in your camper but you don't want the bed mode, it goes up just as easy. And one good thing about that is I can make the bed in the morning and it'll stay made up all day. There's a space back there that doesn't fold up. The pillows can sit there, and then we can turn our sofa back into a sofa. And now we're in living room mode. So let me show you the kitchen next. It's not a big kitchen, but it's going to suit our purpose for the week or 2 weeks that we use this in the spring, summer, and fall months. The window above the dinette opens about maybe 6 inches. The window on the campsite right behind the door opens up another 6 inches. The window on the back side of the camper, that's your emergency exit, and it has one of those drop out windows, so if something were to happen and you can't get to the door, you can make your escape through that. I hope that doesn't happen, because that window is, even though it's an escape window, it is small in my opinion. That will open up like hinge style. It'll go out like this. The window in the kitchen or the galley does not open. I'm not really happy about that, but it is what it is. At least we have a window. This one has blinds where the other windows has shade. So the kitchen has this, I don't know what it's called. It's like a plastic countertop, but it's supposed to be slightly heat resistant, but not extremely heat resistant. One of the things that sold us on this camper, because we looked at 3 different campers. They were all Murphy bed style. They were normal size dinette, had a sofa that jackknife. They were all pretty much laid out the same way. But what sold us on this particular camper was the sink. So we have the gooseneck faucet, which I absolutely love. We have this cover in case you need more countertop. You can use that as more countertop. And then it has this drying mat. You know, you can put your coffee cups on there and they can dry and drip into the sink. But it rolls up really easy and you can take that away. And we have a huge sink. We cook all of our meals at home, and camping is not going to be any different. We will cook all of our meals, whether we cook it inside the camper or outside on a charcoal grill, on the portable gas stove, or a campfire. So that's not going to change. I will have a lot of dishes, and having this stainless steel, very large sink is going to come in handy. I do have some plastic bins that I can use to wash dishes, and then I can let the dishes drain on this side. And we can cover it up and have an extended counter. And then we can still roll this away and we can still use the sink. We only have a 2-burner stove, no oven, but that's okay. I'm not planning on doing a lot of baking when we're on vacation. I'll make sure I make my bread before I leave the house. That way we have bread when we go camping. But it has this glass top that you just fold up and move out of the way. And then you have a 2-burner gas stove. It has a light. My battery is going dead, so I had to turn the solar off so we don't have any lights. But it has a illuminating light where the gauges will light up. And then it has an electric start, or in this case, battery ignited gas stove. Now we looked at some that had 3-burner stove with an oven. That would have been nice, but I didn't have no countertop. And I really wanted countertop because if you've been around a while, you know I love my coffee. And my coffee can go right here, and I can make coffee every day inside the camper. We have this stove fan. It has a light and a fan, and this exhausts outside. So if I'm cooking something such as fish or something that's really aromatics, it's not going to stink up inside the camper. It'll go outside, and whoever's camping behind us can smell what we're having for dinner. We have a microwave. We do not use a microwave too often, but when we have leftovers and we need to heat them up for the next day for lunch, this will be great because we can just microwave it, sit down at our dinette, and have lunch. We only have 2 upper cabinets in this camper. Does have a fixed shelf in the middle, so we have a lower section and an upper section that we can use for storage. I cannot reach that upper section, so whatever's going to go up there, the husband's going to have to get it, or it's going to be out of sight, out of mind. Right above the sink, underneath the cabinet, we do have an outlet, and it's just a regular plug outlet. The fact that it's on this side of the sink, where my counter space is on this side of the sink, means I've got to figure out a way to hide a cord so I can plug in the coffee maker right here without it being in the way. Unless we just use this to make our coffee, plug it in, and then unplug it every day when we move it over here or put it underneath the cabinet. I'm not sure about that because I really wanted the coffee pot to be a fixture that's going to stay on the countertop while we're camping, so when I want to make coffee, I don't have to move things around and make coffee. Underneath the sink, we have 2 large cabinet doors. And it has some supplies in here already. We'll talk about that in a bit. But it's just one open cavity, and I do want to get some sort of like those plastic bins that have the drawers that are very small, 3 little drawers about yay big. I do want to get one of those in here so I can put things in the drawers and not just have a bunch of shelves. So I think I want to put something like that on one side and then build shelves on the other side to put things. I don't have a lot of cabinets for both dishes, coffee cups, pots and pans, cleaning supplies, and food. So I'm going to have to figure out something to do with everything. I don't want to mix non-perishable foods with cooking supplies, eating supplies, and cleaning supplies. So I think I'm going to utilize this bottom area with those drawers, and I might actually put the plates and things in those. and then keep the food in the upper cabinet. Let me know, is that a good idea or a bad idea? But we do need to get some sort of a storage organization under this sink area. It's too big of a cavity to have things just thrown in there, and when you're traveling, they're going to get jostled around and we might actually have some spillage. We do not want to spill anything. We have 2 small drawers. One of this is going to become silverware. And I think the other one is going to become spices if I don't get a spice rack on the wall. We have a small door underneath the stove, and it's pretty deep. That's the stove right underneath of it, and below that is the furnace. But I think that's going to be enough room for my pots and pans. Just need to get a shelf in there so I don't have to pull things out to get to other things. It will be all easy access with a nice shelf in there. But that is pretty deep. Now this camper did come with a television and a sound bar. And the sound bar will do radio, television, and Bluetooth. We can actually hook our phones to that and have music streaming. We have 2 speakers on the outside that we can control from this sound bar, and we can have music outside and music inside. But it has a very large window on the campsite. So when we're sitting here under bad weather and we have to eat in here, or if it's really late in the evening and we're working on our computers, we can actually still see outside perfect. And this window does open. This bottom portion right here will open, and this is the only part that has screen, so that's the only airflow we can get from this window. But that's okay, family. We have an air condition. Underneath both dinettes, we have these little doors that open up, that we can also store things in here. I would have preferred a drawer to come out, but that's okay. I don't know the cubic feet of the refrigerator, but we do have a separate freezer and a refrigerator. And I love this refrigerator. So when you open it, got a little hinge right here you have to hit, and it opens up, and it's a pretty good size refrigerator. And it also has a drawer in the bottom. Freezer opens up the same way. And it is a really good size freezer. We will be able to take a whole week's of protein for breakfast and dinner. Plus we can have all of our condiments and any leftovers stored in here. This is a really good refrigerator. It is a 12-volt refrigerator, so it only works off a battery and solar. And when we're plugged into shore power, charge the battery so we can have a refrigerator. But one of the cool things about this refrigerator, so I'm standing right here with a cast iron skillet cooking some sausage or bacon, and I'm making breakfast, and I'm in the way of opening the refrigerator on this side when the husband needs to get something out. Family. So you can open it this way or this way. That is pretty awesome. And that goes same thing with the freezer. Now granted, you are standing in the bathroom when you are doing this, but I like that feature so that I don't have to be filming and cooking to step out of the way so the husband has to go into the refrigerator or freezer. That's pretty awesome in my opinion. One of the downfalls of this particular cabinet is we do not have any storage above the dinette, which I'm going to have to figure something out with all the things we would need. But we looked at one that did have the over dinette storage, and I felt like the ceiling just felt a little, small. I like the openness of this dinette with no cabinets on top and the very large window. So we opt on this camper knowing we don't have the additional storage, but that's okay. So we have a full dry bath. And what do I mean by that? So we have a real shower. Now I am very, very short, but it has this skylight. So if you are tall, you have no problems being able to fit into this shower. One of the other things I like about it, we don't have glass doors. And we don't have curtains. We have this slide screen that fits into this track. And it it'll squeege any water off of this screen as you put it back. We have a real bathroom sink with a little bit of storage underneath. Hello, family. We do have a bathroom mirror. It is not a medicine cabinet. I would like to get a medicine cabinet eventually, but that's not a deal breaker on this camper at the moment. We have a real Dinette porcelain foot flush toilet. Porcelain was important to me because those plastic ones are crappy. But it's porcelain. Can you hear that? And another thing we liked about this camper is it has a wardrobe. So in these closets, we have a hanger rod that we can actually hang clothes in. Do we need that? Probably not. But I do want to get a storage thing, that like a closet, shelving, hanging closet thing, so I can put things on it such as their towels, washcloth, any kitchen linens. Everything will go in here so that we have more storage for other things, because we only need hanging clothes for this big for 1 week of camping. And it closes very tight, so it won't move while we're in transit. Another thing about this bathroom is we have a very large drawer that we can utilize either for clothes or anything like that. So the bathroom is actually the whole width of the back of the camper. We have a pocket door that we can close for privacy. And then we can open it up, and it has a thumb lock to secure the door so it's not going to move during transit. Right here you can see 2 electronic monitors. This one is called the Furrion. That is for the air condition and the heater. And this one is called Suburban, and that's for our on-demand hot water heater. The hot water heater runs on gas, and it's on demand. The gentleman at the RV place says it could take up to 5 minutes once you turn on the hot water on your spigot or in your shower for it to get hot and come out of the spigot. That's not a problem, but it's first time we go camping. Don't worry, family, you're going to go with me, and you're going to see everything in working order. So that is our new camper. It is actually manufactured by East to West. It's an Alta LE 1600 MRB. I think the M stands for Murphy, for the Murphy bed. The RB stands for rear bathroom. So if you want to see how I'm going to put things in this camper, how I'm going to use it for storage for at least a week-long vacation, or if we're going to go longer than that, how am I bringing food? We will still be doing our week of meals, just a week of camping meals. If you want to see us in action in this camper, day to day while we're on vacation, leave a comment below and tell me. So until next time, y'all have a blessed day. Can't wait till we go camping, family. Bye.